G'day viewers, my name's Graham Stevenson and I'd like to invite you to come on a journey of creativity and learning and adventure through the series Colour in Your Life. There's an artist in every family throughout the world, and lots of times there's an artist deep down inside all of us as well. So grab your kids, your brothers, your sisters, your aunties, uncles and mums and dads and come and see how some of the best artists do what they do. Well, g'day viewers and welcome back to Colour in Your Life. Well, as you can see, the fantastic and amazing Golden Gate Bridge in the wonderful city of San Francisco in the United States of America. We're over here filming some incredibly talented people, and we're going to be crossing the country, meeting some extraordinary individuals, some really talented human beings, and you're going to see some amazing stuff. But we're here now, and we're literally going to cross the country with this. But come along for the ride. You're going to have a great time. Well, good day viewers and welcome to Colour in Your Life in the USA. Well, we're down at a little town in Southern California called Murrieta, and I'm with an amazingly talented man, Mr. Richard Stergulz. How are you, bud?
I'm doing fantastic. How about yourself?
Welcome to the show. Fantastic. I mean, when you see Richard's work today, you're going to see one of the great portrait artists of the United States, as far as I'm concerned. And the reason that is that this young man here went to the American Art Academy in Chicago, one of the most prestigious schools in the country and also one of the toughest ones as well.
Yes, it was.
Tell me a bit about that.
It started off in a young age, and I decided that I wanted to go to art school instead of just being a factory worker. I applied for the American Academy of Art, and they accepted my portfolio, which made me a happy artist.
Yeah.
And went there, and that first year was really tough. That first year they taught fundamentals.
Yeah.
It really honed my skills.
Yeah.
You know, we had excellent teachers. We had 4 projects, and in that 4 projects we had 4 paintings that we had to do. So there were 16 total every month. It's
really Renaissance training at its best,
Yes.
in a sense, when you go to this particular academy. It is, regardless, is one of the best in the world. And when you see Richard's work today, you will well and truly see that he is one of the great people that's actually come out of that institution. You're going to paint a chef
Yes.
today. A picture, you actually got this off somebody else, the picture itself, didn't you?
Yes, a fantastic photographer in Wisconsin.
Okay.
And he was gracious enough to be able to let me paint this. I love the photo. There's so much character to this guy. So I have painted it once already. I'm going to do a demo today for everyone so that we can talk about color, we can talk about value, the relationships between a warm and a cold color as opposed to the color itself. You know, everybody's heard this, and the light is cold and the shadows are warm. So we'll go over that. We'll talk a lot about that. I'll be teaching as much as I can and talking to you people about doing this painting so that we get a really nice, successful depth in our painting, the rendering itself.
Yeah, and you'll see a lot of the other fantastic pieces that Richard does. I mean, something that sort of verging on the surreal, but there's lots of mythology, lots of history. You know, you're a very science-based person as well with the way you think about things. But let's get into this painting and go along for the ride with this amazing human being. Okay, Rich, I can actually see that you've sketched out this particular piece in charcoal with the varying tonal aspects of the picture. Can you explain that to us as well?
Yes, I like to map everything out, and I really like to map out where my light source is coming from. So the light source is coming from here. We have a shadow side of the face, and there's only 2 families. There's a light family and a shadow family. That's it. I wanted to make sure I get the planes, and that really helps get the depth.
Now, I've noticed that you've actually got a caulking gun there as well. Now, I've never seen anybody use a caulking gun with paints that size. Yeah, I mean, what's the motivation behind that?
I love this brand paint, and there's not too many of them out there that I found that come in this 10-ounce tubes. They're from Classic Artist Oils. They're really creamy and buttery, and I just love the consistency. So I'm really happy with this brand. But here again, you know, you've got this or you've got this.
Yeah.
You know, this here lasts me a year. This will last me probably 3 paintings, if that. So this I really love. And it's very simple. Caulking gun. Pop it in there, pull the top off, and
boom, away you go.
Squeeze some paint.
That's great. And did they come with those ends as well?
Yes.
They do? Oh,
yep.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, they come all closed off, and then you just snip the end and keeps it, it's still moist, still wet.
What a great idea.
Great paint. So I'm gonna finish off squeezing out my palette here. I usually keep all my warms on one side. I keep all my cools on the other side. Leave a big pile of white down here, and you know, don't pass out if you see me squeeze out a lot of white. I use a lot of white. So
okay, let's see you do that then.
Brace yourself.
Just squeeze it all out.
There we go. So we get a nice big chunk of paint. Courageous, courage. I'll put a little bit of Mars Black on here, just in case I want some deeper color in there. So I just use black a little bit sparingly. Black is pretty powerful, so if you do use black, sneak up on it so that it doesn't overpower the painting or your mixture. All right.
Yellow ochre.
That's it. All right, so as you can see, I have warms over here. I have only 3 cools. Have a really, really small palette. I've got primaries, I got a couple of secondaries, so I'm ready to go.
Fantastic.
And here I use terpenoid.
Okay.
Terpenoid is non-odor. You need still ventilation. So if you're at home, open up the windows. Have a fan blowing, or keep it away from you a little bit, because at the end of the day of painting, if you're going to be painting for 6-8 hours or so, you will get a dull headache. Okay, so I'm all set. I'm going to grab a bigger brush, take a look at where I'm going to start. Usually I sit back and look at a painting and paint it in my head for a little while to kind of map it out. Almost like a chess game. I want to be 3 moves ahead while I'm painting. So we have light source coming from this way. I'm going to get rid of all this white at first. Going to be pretty wet. I'm going to start off with a cool. So I have my Prussian blue.
So really broad strokes. Just getting it down.
I'm really just trying to cover the white.
Yeah. I'm
not painting yet. And if it runs into my figure a little bit, so be it.
Yep.
You know, like I said, we got to go back to that talk about artists being courageous when they paint. I have so many timid painters, you know, and it shows in their painting by the time they're done. Go ahead and pop that in there. Don't worry if everything's overlaps.
So what was the most powerful piece of information you think you learnt from the Academy?
It was actually to be able to render a light source so that things looked 3D instead of flat. So if you see this right in here, this dark that comes down the face, that's called a core shadow. This is also called a core shadow. This is a core shadow right in here off this nose. Then you have a little bit of reflective light, a little bit of reflective light. That helps to turn your image, your object. So that's a must, has to be in there. And that's what the Academy really showed me. So right now, just to get rid of this white. All right. Now I'm gonna water it down just a little bit more, and I'm gonna go off into the whites, where I think that shadow would be. Even bring some of it in the face. Like I said, overlapping is good.
So you're really not precious about this at all?
No. I put this down as quickly as I did. This right here tells the story of where that light source is coming from already. So now I'm just going to take a warm, and I'm going to grab some of this burnt sienna. And I usually keep it very simple in the beginning of the painting. And I'm going to go over the whole face.
Wow.
One quick spot of warmth where the lights are, and I'm going to take this same mixture, and once again I'm just going to dilute it a little bit more, and I'm going to go into the hat. See how it's just a touch lighter than the forehead?
Yes.
I want to keep that because the forehead value, his skin value, is darker than the value of the hat. And now another wash, and this time I'm going to grab the burnt sienna and a little bit of the Prussian blue. This will go off into a little bit of a green feel, but I'm going to start to develop a little bit more of the shadow. And sometimes what I do to see my full value range up on my painting is to take just one scoop of white, just white, that's it, nothing else, and pop it somewhere where you can see it. So now I can get a good look at how white this will be compared to the skin. And I can even go with the opposite as well with the background. And I can scoop a little bit of it right along that hat. So you see I'm starting to get some contrast now.
You've got such a variety of artwork that you do, from surrealism to professional portraits for people on a commission basis. But some of the other pieces that I think are just fascinating is pictures like Persephone, which is just a fantastic piece, and a lot of mythology that you use as well. The portrait that you did of Zeus, you know, with the lightning rods coming through his hands in the clouds, are just amazing. What's your motivation to do pieces like that?
I believe in the universe telling me things here and there. And for a while there, I was getting back and forth with Greek mythology. So in each one of the paintings, I put what relates to them in their stories. And Gustav Klimt, what a pioneer. I just love his compositions. So I wanted to incorporate that, both that old world plus some of the newer thoughts, contemporary thoughts from me.
And they're fantastic pieces. They are just absolutely magnificent.
Well, thank you. I've got a clean brush right here. I'm going to mix up a little bit of some halftones. And usually how I do that is I grab white first. Keeps my white clean. And I'm just going to do the traditional mix: cad red, yellow ochre, and then raw sienna. Mix up a nice big pile. I'm not using as much turpentine anymore because I don't want the paint runny anymore. I want it nice and opaque. So what I usually do is I'll go in the light source, I'll pop in a shape and judge it while it's up here. I'm trying to think of the planes of the face. And right now, all I'm doing is tiling. And here again, I'm keeping it very simple. Now this is where I go back into the shadow again. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a little bit of the burnt sienna, mix it up with that flesh. Now this, as I start to go off into the shadows, isn't as opaque. It's a little bit thinner. And all I'm gonna do is just tile it right next to my light source, going off into my shadow. This is what's called a turning edge, a turning temperature, so that this cheek here turns back into the face, so that we get a really good, solid 3D cheekbone that's sitting there.
Your journeys as an artist have taken you all over the world as well. You've painted various paintings in locations right across the planet. Some of the ones we're just going to pop up now, one called Mamma Mia. You know, you've got some great stories that goes with these as well. And there's another one that I think is just a beautiful piece of work. This is a real man. His name was Geppetto, and he was actually making puppets in a shop.
Yes, he was phenomenal. What a craftsman. These puppets that he was making, the dolls, the birds, everything that he had made were just phenomenal.
There was a gentleman in a story, looked like he was an old war veteran, long hair and a beard, and you said you were just sort of leaning across, snapping shots at him because the light was just fantastic as it came through the back window onto his head.
That was really good lighting. I couldn't have set up professional photography lights and gotten better lighting on that one.
That's great. I can understand by watching your technique now the reason that so many people come to you to get their portraits commissioned.
I really enjoy doing portraits, and I really enjoy meeting the clients as well. Most of them are just phenomenal people to begin with.
Yeah.
It's an honor for me to be able to portray that in its own, not to mention the fact that I get to paint. All right, at this point, I'm going off into that reflective light, and I'm starting to fill things in. At this point, you shouldn't be able to see the numbers on the painting anymore.
Okay. Red is 3.
Red is 3. And I'm just going to roughly put in some of the folds here, keeping some of the edges soft. I don't want to get too harsh. All right, now I'm going to get into that hat a little bit. Here again, I'm just tiling. I'm putting that paint up there. Haven't really blended much. Now the only other thing I have left to block in right out at this point now is his handkerchief. So I have the Cad Red medium and I have a little bit of the Alizarin Crimson. This is going to be really intense, but that's okay. I would rather you start off with more intense color and then neutralize them as you go. It's easier than to try to bring back a color. All right, for this small work, I got to take the specks off. Once again, very simple. I'm just going to use straight black. I want to pop in the pupils first. One of the reasons why I like to put the pupils in first is because I want to make sure that the eyes are looking in the same direction. I'm going to give this guy blue eyes to match the background. And I start down at the bottom where the light source is going through the eye. Now at this point, I'm going to go into the sclera, the white of the eyeball.
There's one piece that I think is just a magnificent piece of work. It's called Survivor. And it's of a young lady, and the skin tones that you've actually put into this piece in this young woman's eyes, a lass that's gotten over breast cancer, but what a magnificent piece. The expression in that girl's face is incredible.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, you have somebody go through something like that. It changes you. It makes you a stronger person.
Yeah, there was one piece that you were telling me about before about a gentleman who was a fireman. And he really saved a lot of people and some houses as well. I mean, sacrificed his own safety to look after other people.
His crew, they were in the fires in '07 here in Southern California. And he was about the only truck left. He saw this flag at this person's house and he said, I'm going to save this house. Ran over, grabbed that flag, threw it in the truck, and they went back in there and they saved the rest of the community from then out. All of them are heroes.
It's an amazing human being. And
yeah, it was really nice. They had a gathering after that, and he presented the flag back to the owner of the house.
Fantastic.
Very, very touching.
You've got a piece called It's Our Planet Too, and it's a menagerie of the wonderful creatures that live in this world with us as well.
We share this rock, so we have to be good to it, not only for us, but for every living being on this planet.
Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful piece of work, without a doubt.
Okay, now that I have the internal pretty close to where I want it, I'm going to start to develop a little bit of the outside edges.
Yes.
Look at how that feels like it turns just that little bit, and how hard this is, and it stops it from turning. All right, then I'm just going to drag some of this neutral gray into some of these little creases towards the shadow. My partner, co-founder, Leslie Sweetland, we're going to open up an artist school and retreat so that we can offer workshops to artists from all over the world. And we're going to have cottages so that the artists can stay and get taught by master teachers from all over the world as well. We are going to be eco-friendly. We're going to be self-sustainable.
To bring all of these incredible people together in the one place on a global basis, I think would be just a fantastic opportunity for people. And I think that this idea is what Colour in Your Life's all about as well. It's about literally sharing this knowledge and enabling people to change their lives through creativity. If anybody wants to inquire about this, your website, Richard, what is that?
It's thegreenarthouse.com.
Okay. I think it'd be just a way to change your life for the better under any circumstances if you came along and be part of this amazing facility that Leslie and Richard are building.
Okay, well, let's have some fun with that hair.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right now, what I'm doing with the hair is just being free. It's not so much that I'm painting right now, but I'm drawing. Having fun, letting it just flow, and wherever it lands. Make sure he keeps his attitude.
It's good fun, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm going to darken this just a little bit. I think it's a little too white right now. And here at this point, I am working it a little bit. I don't want to deposit a whole lot of paint at this point. I want to use the tip, so I'm kind of going straight at it here and just flicking. So it's a really nice light pressure. It almost looks like he's got one of those fake mustaches glued on him. On this side, I got a little wild because I wanted to show you that I can just wipe that right down with my background brush.
Yeah.
I can take some of this paint right here and just go right into it, and it's gone. Now I'll go back into his jacket really quickly. And just that right there, how dark comes forward, light recedes. So as this gets developed farther, this will get a little bit lighter, this will get a little bit darker. So he'll pop forward. Okay. At this point, I'm going to use my favorite brush.
Your finger.
Favorite brush. And I'm just going to go in there and have a little fun in here.
Yeah.
Going back and forth, just push it around. Lighter pressure here and there, harder pressure, you know, depending on what you're looking for.
It's amazing the effects you can get with your finger.
Yeah. At this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to put on some planes of the face, so I'm going to add some highlights. And if you notice the way I was stroking my brush, pulling down at this point, because I want to make sure that the ridges of the paint don't catch the light. In a gallery, when you show those paintings, if there's ridges across there, it'll actually capture light.
Yes.
So if I pull down, you won't be able to see that light.
Well, this is amazing what you've done today. Incredible talent. You know, not only do you do portraits, you do portraits of quite famous people as well. I mean, Magic Johnson for a start, Muhammad Ali, obviously for varying clients, and a lot of other, quite well-known professional people. So, people want portraits done by Richard. They just should get in touch with him at his website. Now, what's your website again, bud?
Stergulzart.com.
Stergulzart.com. And if you want to commission by this amazingly talented man, I would suggest you go into his website and get in touch with him as soon as you can. Okay guys, fantastic day with one of America's great master portrait artists. It was just amazing to see the techniques. Rich, thank you so much for showing us. It's just been tremendous. Now, you have two websites.
Yes.
First one is?
thegreenarthouse.com.
Okay, and that's where you can come along and be part and parcel of literally the best people in the one location that are doing art and art for the right reason. There's going to be so many people there doing amazing things. I think it's just going to be a fantastic place.
Yes,
absolutely.
We're going to have master workshops from teachers all over the world.
It'd be just sensational. I mean, just amazing. And we're going to be working very, very closely with these guys as well with Colour in Your Life. And the second website, which is yours?
Stergulzart.com.
Okay, now if you want commissioned portraits by this amazing human being, I would suggest you get in touch with Richard at that website. As you can see, he's quite an incredible human being. Also, and as I said, we're going to be working closely with these guys. I mean, we love being in America. It's been fantastic being over here. But you can come to colorinyourlife.com.au and see what we're doing, and also our Facebook page and our YouTube page. Come in and talk to us there as well. We're going to head off. We love this country and we love the people in it as well. But as we always say, remember, until we see you guys again, make sure you put some colour in your life, and we'll see you next time. Bye guys. See you later. Bye now.